First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The Bulldogs are preparing to arrive in Miami tonight for the big game. Dan will break down everything you need to know for the road to Miami. And new charges in the case of a missing Aiken mother weeks after she was reported missing. They're now considering her case a murder case. But before we get to that, our weather team monitoring the chance for some dangerous fog tonight. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale standing by. And Riley, it looks like it's already moving in.
It is, Laura, especially across our bodies of water around the Savannah River, up at Clarksville Lake. Already seeing that dense fall work week coming up in just about 10 minutes.
From a missing persons case to a murder case, we're learning new details about what led up to those charges. It's been a little more than 3 weeks since 30-year-old Jamila Smith's mom reported her missing. Authorities say she was last heard by a 911 operator screaming and saying her ex-boyfriend was breaking into her home. Investigators arrested her ex, 34-year-old Daniel Harmon, days after Jamila Smith went missing, charging him with kidnapping and domestic violence. He's still in jail tonight, and Audrey Dickerver is live from our newsroom to break down what we've learned now that his charges have been upgraded to murder.
Unfortunately, Jamila's family did not get the news they were hoping for this holiday season. According to an affidavit released on Saturday, this investigation went from a missing persons case to now being a homicides case. And an arrest warrant is revealing new details as to why. Deputies found Daniel Harmon on December 5th at a house in North Augusta, leading to a search warrant. On that same property, in the front yard, they also found the missing Dodge Charger with blood in the trunk. They sent that off to be tested, and you can see the results of that test are redacted, but they received the results December 23rd and upgraded Harmon's charges to murder the same day. The arrest warrant also says, based on the information, investigators believe Harmon hit Jamila with a vehicle and did not take her to the hospital. She hasn't been seen since December 2nd. In Jamila's last phone call to 911, she said her ex-boyfriend broke into her house and was chasing her down the road. On the call, Jamila sounds like she is out of breath. A car engine is heard revving. Jamila is screaming. The phone appears to drop, and a male is heard telling Jamila he will take her to the emergency room. Jamila continues to scream, "Don't hurt me," and "You hit me." The phone call ended, but she never made it to the hospital. Family has been trying to reach Jamila since that day, searching her last known location, but they have had no contact with her. Jamila's phone shows no activity since December 2nd. SLED is helping Aiken County with this case. If you have any information, the Sheriff's Office encourages you to reach out to them.
Just a horrible, horrible scenario. Thanks for keeping on top of this, Audrey. And I got some mother sharing her story with us tonight, just weeks after her 19-year-old son was shot and killed. Authorities say Tyler Smith was shot at least once at a home on Telfair Street. Tonight, Smith's mother is left to mourn her son's death instead of spending the holidays with him. Sydney Hood shares how Tracy Hawthorne is honoring her son's life as his suspected killer is still not in custody.
A picture is like a pause in time. It captures our hearts.
I used to take a lot of pictures of him. He was a Gerber baby. He loved...
For this mom,
he loved pictures.
These pictures of her son are priceless.
Found a butterfly on the ground. He tried to save a butterfly.
It's memories like this that bring in the most tears.
He's my heart. I mean, he far from being perfect, but he was mine. My problem in this world. Nobody has the right to take him, but they did.
Tyler Smith was only 19 years old.
I never thought it would happen to me. You hear about people, you don't say, and it's the worst feeling that a mother can go through.
Her son died inside this house on Telfair Street.
They do need to put the guns down, and nobody has the right to take nobody's life. I just want just for Tyler. I just want the man caught. Maybe that ease my son's pain, but it ain't gonna ease mine.
Because half this mom's heart is forever shattered.
It was part of me. He took a part of me. I wish I could have protected him, but I couldn't. Because I would have took that bullet for him.
It's a moment that will always stand still for Tracy.
So he took my baby away, because he wasn't perfect, but he was mine.
Forever and always, he'll be in her heart. In Augusta, Sydney Hood, on your side.
And 34-year-old Michael Mims is wanted in connection to Smith's death. He was last seen near the scene on Telfair Street and is known to hang around the Telfair Street and Carr Street area. So if you know anything or know where he could be, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. We're learning new details of the death of an infant in Belvedere. Authorities say Charlotte Fowler died at Rita Court on October 15th. She was less than 2 months old. Now her death's being investigated as a homicide. The Aiken County Coroner's Office says they don't know the cause of death. It hasn't been determined, but SLED is involved in this investigation. On Christmas Day, 43-year-old Cinque Hester was hit and killed while walking on Meadowbrook Drive and Bullock Avenue. She now joins a concerning list of victims of Augusta's roadways. Hester was the 20th pedestrian to be killed in this year in the city. Last year, that number was just 8. Richmond County Coroner Mark Bowen recently described the uptick in deaths as very alarming. Bowen also said a majority of these deaths are happening while it's dark outside, and data shows many of these deaths are happening in hot spots like Gordon Highway, Peach Orchard Road, and Mike Paget Highway. Ruth's Family Restaurant will be staying open for at least another 5 years. The restaurant posted this news to Facebook over the weekend after initial heartbreak when the restaurant announced last month they'd be closing for good. But now the restaurant will be managed by Diana Davis, who's worked at Ruth's as a server for 13 years. She and her husband will manage the place.
Road to Miami, sponsored by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Bowl season is in full effect, and the Georgia Bulldogs are arriving in Miami tonight ahead of their showdown with Florida State. Here's News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth to continue our Road to Miami coverage.
Georgia and Florida State both have extremely impressive resumes this season, and with one game left to play, I think it's safe to say Hard Rock Stadium's gonna be rocking when the Dogs and the Seminoles take the field on Saturday. Every bowl season, the most frequently asked question is who will be playing in these games? Between the players pondering their futures in the NFL or the ever-expanding transfer portal, the landscape keeps changing. For example, both starting linebacker for former Georgia players, Javon Dumas-Johnson, and backup quarterback Brock Vandergriff will be heading to Kentucky after transferring there a short while ago. On the flip side, Carson Beck is back behind center for the Dogs, and they landed star running back Trevor Etienne from Florida.
The portal is a good thing. Let's don't make it a negative. If you've been in a program for 3 years and you're not playing, and you don't feel like you're going to play, or you don't feel like you're being developed, and it doesn't look great, you might need to look somewhere else. And that's a okay thing. Okay? It's when you're first year and you're doing that, it becomes a little bit, more alarming. Why did you go there in the first place? You never really gave it a chance to grow.
Georgia is the first team in the college football playoff era to ever be ranked number 1 in the second to last rankings and then not make the Final Four. As for Florida State, they went undefeated 13-0, won the ACC without their starting quarterback, and they still didn't get in. Despite not having the chance to compete for a national championship this year, both of these teams have no shortage of things to play for.
They want to finish on top. There's a lot of them that want to walk off that field for the last time on the winning side, and there's a lot of competitive character. So it is different, but it's not for like the coaching staff. We're going to go up there and meet and do the same thing we were doing if we were playing the playoffs. It's a routine for us.
This will be the 12th time Georgia and Florida State will battle on the gridiron. The Dogs have won 6 out of the past 11 matchups, including a 13-point victory in the 2003 Sugar Bowl. Kickoff between Georgia and FSU is set for Saturday at 4 o'clock down in Miami.
New data shows South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the entire country. Just ahead, we're taking a closer look at what this means for our area.
And we are expecting our soggy day to turn into a wet night and potentially seeing some dense fog heading into tomorrow morning. I have that full forecast just after the break. Our First Alert has always given you the edge against severe weather. And now, with our new First Alert radar network, First just got even faster. With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street, First just got faster.
Even with heavy rain, a lot of people out and about today. This is video from over at Mullins Crossing. A lot of you making those Christmas returns, spending those new gift cards, or just spending time with family from out of town. And Riley, it's been kind of a yucky day to get outside. The rain is starting to slowly move out, but the fog is moving in.
That is going to be the big concern tonight. So it's been a soggy day for the week. Getting back more sunshine by Friday. Looking great for your New Year's Eve and New Year Day plans.
Okay, thanks for that, Riley. New data from the Census Bureau shows South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the entire country. That data came from July 2022 to July of this year. The Palmetto State's population grew by more than 90,000 people. News 12's Craig Allison shows us how this growth is being felt here at home.
Alana Aldridge opened up shop here in downtown Aiken in the past few months, making her new business part of the Palmetto State's new wave of growth. She says Aiken is perfect for her love of fashion and horses.
People are flooding in, not unlike today's rain. South Carolina saw a 1.7% growth from 2022 to 2023, making it the fastest growing state by percentage. An effort Alana is helping with by providing another fashion stop to keep locals here in the alley rather than traveling away to shop.
A lot of people come here with their show horses to compete. On their way to Florida, a lot of people, stay here for the winter, so I wanted to kind of break my neck to get it open on time for the season.
Opening in the alley in late October, she says her experience with dressage horse training helps her fit right in here.
Because of the gallery set up, I could have different rooms, like a little mini department store with, sportswear, one room, equestrian wear, and another room.
It's also been great business for the Feed Sack, which also opened up this year in North Augusta. A restaurant taking on the Aiken County vibe.
Being a part of that wave
for the rest of the week. Getting back more sunshine by Friday. Looking great for your New Year's Eve and New Year Day plans.
Okay, thanks for that, Riley. New data from the Census Bureau shows South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the entire country. That data came from July 2022 to July of this year. The Palmetto State's population grew by more than 90,000 people. News 12's Craig Allison shows us how this growth is being felt here at home.
Alana Aldridge opened up shop here in downtown Aiken in the past few months, making her new business part of the Palmetto State's new wave of growth. She says Aiken is perfect for her love of fashion and horses.
People are flooding in, not unlike today's rain. South Carolina saw a 1.7% growth from 2022 to 2023, making it the fastest growing state by percentage. An effort Alana is helping with by providing another fashion stop to keep locals here in the alley rather than traveling away to shop.
A lot of people come here with their show horses to compete. On their way to Florida, a lot of people, stay here for the winter, so I wanted to kind of break my neck to get it open on time for the season.
Opening in the alley in late October, she says her experience with dressage horse training helps her fit right in here.
Because of the gallery set up, I could have different rooms, like a little mini department store with, sportswear, one room, equestrian wear, and another room.
It's also been great business for the Feed Sack, which also opened up this year in North Augusta. A restaurant taking on the Aiken County vibe.
Being a part of that wave, both personally and professionally. I moved to South Carolina 3 years ago to Aiken, and I came here for the exact same reason I think a lot of people are. The opportunities, the lifestyle, the fact that it's a beautiful, quiet area where you can raise a family is magical.
More growth, more options, and more reasons to stay.
It just couldn't be a warmer welcome.
She says it's been nothing but warm welcomes and southern hospitality, adding as another piece of the alley's growth and the Palmetto States. In Aiken, Craig Allison, on your side.
And it's not just South Carolina seeing growth. That same census report found Georgia is now the 8th largest state by population in the country, more than 11 million people. Georgia's also 4th on the list of top states by growth from last year to this year. Christmas may be over, but there's a way to give your live tree a second life. We're going to explain how coming up.
First alert rate and New Year Day plans.
Okay, thanks for that, Riley. New data from the Census Bureau shows South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the entire country. That data came from July 2022 to July of this year. The Palmetto State's population grew by more than 90,000 people. News 12's Craig Allison shows us how this growth is being felt here at home.
Alana Aldridge opened up shop here in downtown Aiken in the past few months, making her new business part of the Palmetto State's new wave of growth. She says Aiken is perfect for her love of fashion and horses.
People are flooding in, not unlike today's rain. South Carolina saw a 1.7% growth from 2022 to 2023, making it the fastest growing state by percentage. An effort Alana is helping with by providing another fashion stop to keep locals here in the alley rather than traveling away to shop.
A lot of people come here with their show horses to compete. On their way to Florida, or a lot of people, stay here for the winter. So I wanted to kind of break my neck to get it open on time for the season.
Opening in the alley in late October, she says her experience with dressage horse training helps her fit right in here.
Because of the gallery set up, I could have different rooms, like a little mini department store with, sportswear in one room, equestrian wear in another room.
It's also been great business for the Feed Sack, which also opened up this year in North Augusta. A restaurant taking on the Aiken County vibe.
Being a part of that wave, both personally and professionally, I moved to South Carolina 3 years ago to Aiken, and I came here for the exact same reason I think a lot of people are. The opportunities, the lifestyle, the fact that it's a beautiful, quiet area where you can raise a family is magical.
More growth, more options, and more reasons to stay.
It just couldn't be a warmer welcome.
She says it's been nothing but warm welcomes and Southern hospitality, adding as another piece of the alley's growth and the Palmetto States. In Aiken, Craig Allison, on your side.
And it's not just South Carolina seeing growth. That same census report found Georgia is now the 8th largest state by population in the country, more than 11 million people. Georgia's also 4th on the list of top states by growth from last year to this year. Christmas may be over, but there's a way to give your live tree a second life. We're going to explain how coming up. We are just a few days away from 2024 and less than a year away from the 2024 presidential election. But before that, we have the presidential primaries. You can now request an absentee ballot in both South Carolina and Georgia. Those absentee ballots are open for all voters. You don't need a reason to have a ballot mailed to you, but you do have to request one. In Georgia, Republicans and Democrats settled on the same day to hold their presidential primary, so that'll be March 12th. In South Carolina, the parties chose different dates. The Democratic primary is on Saturday, February 3rd. The Republican primary is on February 24th. Christmas is over. Now we're getting ready to take down all of those Christmas decorations. But before you throw your live tree in the trash or at the curb, our Will Volk has a program that can give your tree a second life.
When it's time for your Christmas tree to leave your home, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers wants you to give it a new home.
It's important to provide habitat for the lake, fishing areas for anglers to utilize. With this lake, it lacks in vertical structure.
Conservation biologist Evan Frazier says if you put a Christmas tree in the lake, you'll have a great place to fish real soon.
They're excellent, especially if they're placed in January and come February, are great crappie catching places.
He says a Christmas tree can create an entire ecosystem.
Within a week or 2 weeks, it begins forming algae. Algal will start growing on the needles and branches of the Christmas tree, which attracts microorganisms, which attracts sunfish, which is your brim species, and which attracts bigger species, bass and crappie.
To make it easier, the Corps set up a few drop-off sites around the area. You can go there to drop off a tree, or if you're an angler looking to put a tree in the lake, you can pick one up there too. The Corps won't put the trees in the lake. It's up to you to place the tree.
Please bring it by here and recycle it back to nature.
In Clarksville, Will Volk, on your side.
And you have until January 14th to donate your live tree. There are several locations to bring your tree, including Amity Boat Ramp, Keg Creek Boat Ramp, the Dorn Boat Ramp, and Parksville Boat Ramp.
Always a great initiative every single year that they do this up at the lake. And as they mentioned there, that you actually can take a tree and create your own little fishing habitat at your own secret spot. So pretty cool way to just recycle those trees out there. If you're heading up to the lake, we do look dry the next couple of days, but watch out for that fog out there early tomorrow morning. We'll have another look at the forecast just after the break.
From our family to yours, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
We are excited to announce that the Medicare Specialist is now 64 Insurance Group. And while we've expanded our portfolio to include other health insurance products, we are still your go-to for all things Medicare. Don't wait until you're 65 to call. AreYou64.com.
The exterior.
Hey, Chip, what's the matter?
Man, this name change is stressing me out.
Everyone will know we still specialize in Medicare.
Yeah, I know that, but what about this?
Are-you64.com.
Morning, afternoon, night, Monday through Sunday, 24/7. Our first alert commitment to you is the power of 5 meteorologists, always tracking weather that impacts you, telling you what we know as soon as we know it. All the tools, the latest technology, and the first team of 5 meteorologists. First Alert is our investment in your family's safety. News 12's First Alert weather on your side.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, as millions of you head home from the holidays, prepare for some weather that's causing delays and treacherous conditions. We'll have more on what to expect as a dangerous winter storm moves east. That and more headlines tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And if you are heading out this evening, we still have a few of these light showers around the metro, so we are keeping this opportunity for some light rain at least into the overnight. Once we get into late tonight, early tomorrow, we'll see this rain move out, and then we're giving way to some dense fog that will start to form as we head into early tomorrow morning. Here's the way it's looking on our in-house model, so just keeping that opportunity for a few showers out there the next several hours. By daybreak tomorrow morning, should just be cloudy, temps waking up into the 50s. There likely will be some dense fog the first part of the day, and then we should see a few breaks in those clouds, staying dry tomorrow with highs in the 60s, so not feeling too bad most of our Wednesday. Thursday into Friday, that's when it starts to get cool again, highs only into the 50s for the weekend. Looking good to go, though, for your outdoor plans for New Year's Eve.
That'll do it for us, but we have more news coming up over on NBC at 7. We'll see you there.
At the CBS Evening News, we focus on solutions, finding solutions to help people understand what are the right choices to make for you and your family.
Live from Augusta, breaking news.
Breaking news, Richmond County deputies need your help finding a missing teen. Deputies say Aiden Burke was last seen on Wheeler Road around 12 o'clock. Burke was last seen wearing black Adidas sandals, dark skinny jeans, and a white hoodie. Anyone who knows where he might be is asked to call investigators. I want to give you a live...
In just about 10 minutes.
A woman is now facing charges in connection to the death of her nearly 2-month-old daughter who died back in October. Aiken County deputies say Jordan Fowler was charged with unlawful neglect of a child on December 14th for the death of Charlotte Fowler. Arrest warrants show between August 20th and October 15th, Fowler placed her daughter Charlotte in an unreasonable risk of harm. Authorities say Jordan allegedly squeezed or shook Charlotte, and Charlotte died October 15th at her home on Rita Court in Belvedere. The cause of death is still being investigated. It was a deadly weekend here across the CSRA. 2 people were shot and killed Christmas Eve, 2 more on Christmas Day. Out of all 4 of those cases, the only arrest so far is Gene Washington in connection to the shooting death of Willie Trotty from Jackson. That shooting happened on Christmas Day. Washington is expected to be charged with manslaughter in his death. Our Nick Veland live in the newsroom with the latest on all of these shootings.
Yeah, Laura, well, there's 4 shootings on both sides of the river ringing in the holiday season in our area as law enforcement now looks to put the pieces together. A street in South Augusta, quiet now. But Christmas Eve night brought a disturbance to the 2300 block of Boykin Road. The shooting happened just shy of midnight on the 23rd, according to the coroner's office, and it turned fatal 45 minutes later when the victim, Steve Luke, was pronounced dead at Wellstar MCG. The autopsy has been scheduled. Across the river at 5:30 p.m. on Christmas Day in Jackson, shots rang out. The Aiken County Coroner's Office says that the victim, Willie Trotty, died after an argument turned deadly. A suspect was soon taken into custody. Witnesses identified Gene Pierre Washington, and deputies took him into custody immediately after. His charges are expected to be manslaughter and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, the sheriff's office says. Trotty will have his autopsy soon in Newberry. He was 37 years old. Steve Luke was 36. And there were 2 more in Aiken County on Christmas Eve, one on Squire Street, leaving 29-year-old Rondre Gomillion dead. This suspect is still on the run, and the other was a domestic violence in Allendale. The suspect, Roger
Hammer is in custody and the victim's name has not been released.
Okay, hopefully they'll have some answers in all of those cases soon. Thanks for that, Nick. Also, in Aiken County, new documents are revealing the details of missing mom Jamila Smith's call to 911 for help, which includes her apparently saying, "You hit me." Authorities say they believe Daniel Harmon allegedly murdered Smith. An arrest warrant says Smith called 911 from her home the day before she and Harmon were reported missing. Smith told dispatch her ex-boyfriend broke into her house and chased her down the road. Dispatch could hear a car revving and then Smith screaming. They heard a man telling her to get in the car so he could take her to the hospital, and Smith continued to scream, yelling she had been hit. The man denied running over her. 2 days later, police searched the Dodge Charger where they believed to be last seen, and it was tested for DNA after blood was found in the truck. If anyone has information on that investigation, call deputies. A couple of weeks after a 19-year-old was shot and killed, we're now hearing from his mom. Tyler Smith was shot on Townfair Street on December 12th, just 2 weeks before Christmas. His mom, Tracy Hawthorne, says her heart is shattered and says the moment Tyler took his last breath is one she will never forget.
I never thought it would happen to me. You hear about people, you know what I'm saying? And it's the worst feeling that a mother can go through. Tyler changed my life. Because I wasn't supposed to have time. He changed my life for the best, you know. And then he died at a young age. It's heartbreaking.
Michael Mims is wanted in connection to Smith's murder. Officials say Mims is known to hang out in the area of Townfair and Carr Street. He was last seen near Townfair Street wearing a green hoodie and black pants. If you know where he is, call deputies. The publisher and editor of the Augusta Business Daily is now accusing the clerk of court overseeing Alec Murdaugh's murder trial of plagiarism. Neil Gordon accusing Rebecca Hill of plagiarizing a passage in the book Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders. Gordon claims Hill took passages in the book from a draft of a BBC News article. Gordon says he found them while he was reviewing pages of Hill's emails released to reporters. Hill's attorney says she takes full responsibility for the actions and will apologize to the reporter. The after-Christmas rush to get home looks